Yes, everybody, welcome back to Football United TV. This is the Introduce Yourself show. I'm joined by the one and only Miss Melina today. And you know what's coming up right now? It's the intro. Yes, everybody, welcome back to the Introduce Yourself show. And my guest today is the one and only Miss Melina. How are you doing?
Hi, Matt. Thanks so much for having me on. It's been a while since I've been on here. Last
I
time I
know.
was on here, Man United were in a mess, and look at the turn and the changes that's happened. But as long with my club, we weren't in the greatest of places. But I'm looking forward to this discussion today. Something very different and something I feel like it's going to be a lot more fun than our usual streams.
It is, yeah. It's not necessarily we're going to be pulling stuff out about specific games because literally we are going to
Yeah.
be talking about you and your love for football and talking about Arsenal too and your experiences in making content. So what we'll do, Mel, is we'll start off with, if I can find it, beg your pudding. When and how did you first get into football? How
So
did it
I
all
also
begin for you?
I also play football, but when I was a kid, unfortunately, my mom and my sister, they chose the wrong side of Manchester and they support Man United. Um, but my dad, me, and my grandma were all Gooners. I think as a kid, when I was very young, around 4 or 5 years old, when I was being babysat, they'd put on the games while I was a kid. And just watching them play, I didn't really understand the game at the time. But seeing the goals, seeing, oh, that's the team in red that's always doing well at the time. We when I was born, so I'm a '97 kid, and watching the Thierry Henry's, the Bergkamps. I guess when I got older, watching those games back and seeing the flair and quality that they had, I said, "Yep, that's my team." I'm following in my family's footsteps. Thank God I didn't go down the Man United route. Um, but I think that's where my interest started. And I think growing up more and more, when you start playing it, you start to learn more the rules of the game. You start to learn how your goals can get robbed by stupid officiating decisions as well. But more importantly, you learn more love for the game as you're playing it yourself. And a couple of years ago, when I first started to go to post secondary school, I had a call up an opportunity to go and play semi professional in America. And when I first got the offer, I said, "Oh, well, I don't know if I could really do this because of my health issues. I'm someone with asthma, heart problems, and autism." And being able to go to another country, regardless of certain differences people frame you as, I think that's something that took a huge step and helped build my confidence over the years. But also, at first, when I started, my mom is very, very strict and very much so woman. Like when you're a student, you just need to study, be with the books, study, get a good job, always like a typical what a parent would say to their child, right?
Yeah.
And she wasn't really on it at first. She was like, "What do you mean playing football?" She was okay with the Sunday football and everything, just on the weekends, go out and play with your team. But when I said, "Mom, I got this call up to do something semi pro," she said, "What do you mean?" She didn't even think that was real. She didn't even think that actually existed. And at first, she didn't really support me at first. But my dad was the one who really, really encouraged me because oftentimes kids nowadays, they keep in their shell. They don't really go out, they don't really get fitness activity, and you don't really learn skills like leadership, teamwork, and also working with people who have differences. And I think being in a different country, learning the different rules of that country, thankfully they spoke English, but being able to adapt to people's differences and lead my team to winning games. Unfortunately, I had to withdraw after a year and a half. I had a serious injury to my knee. So when I see now footballers tearing their ACL, I know how painful it is, especially the criticism these footballers get on Twitter
Mhm.
when they're injured. Injuries are inevitable to every single team, right? And look at
Yeah.
Arsenal, for example. Right now, we were just talking backstage, Matt, about the Jesus injury. People were already writing off these players because they're so-called injury prone. But once you're a footballer yourself and you realize how much that can ruin your confidence and you're never going to be able to play the same way like you did before, right? At the highest level. I still play recreationally, but I'll be very and truly honest. I really miss playing for a team at that level, being able to compete. And I'm someone who's very competitive. When we lose, I carry that with me home. And something that, I criticized myself and I said, look, you did this wrong, you have to improve. That's what got me to where I understood football and sports in a tactical way rather than just following, oh, this player has GA. I want to see them what they can do when they're playing on different positions. Do they have versatility? What is it like when they're working with a different formation? And I think being able to play football got me more into football. The other thing I want to say is I know Arsenal haven't really been in the Champions League for a long time, but when I was growing up, Ronaldo was one of my favorite icons. And being able to see the greats of Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, their flair, the quality they brought into the team, and seeing them lead and dominate teams, destroying teams apart single-handedly, that really, really got me going into, the European side, the Champions League side, seeing, the likes of Zinedine Zidane,
Yeah.
before he became a coach, seeing him play, the likes of Guti at Real Madrid. Real Madrid is a team I have a very sincere soft spot for. And I think Arsenal over the years has been a lot of highs and lows, just like my life. We used to have a lot of troubles in our defensive back line. We had players who didn't really care to play with the badge. But I want to go back to, what really got me going in football. I think
Yeah.
every time I saw the team, the season, what's it called? The season where all your teams play, it will show you like at the start of the season, you get to know the schedule, the roster, like the schedule
Yeah. Yeah.
their season. The first game I'd look for was Arsenal Man United. I grew up on that rivalry, and still to this day, that rivalry is bigger to me than equally big to me as Tottenham Hotspur because I grew up watching the Vieira fights in the tunnel. I grew up
RIP.
watching that, and it felt like we
Mm.
would go to war whenever we went to Man
Yeah.
United, Old
Mm.
Trafford to play. I grew up watching that, and to see that, and also to see what a French manager Arsene Wenger brought into this team, the quality that he brought, not buying legends but building legends we have now, Thierry Henry. Um, and that's something that my one of my favorite players of Arsenal Football Club. I actually painted both of them, Henri and Bergkamp. So
Perfect
um,
duo, huh?
yeah, and I think they're the ones back then when I was a kid. There wasn't really any people of color in football. At that time, football wasn't really expanded much just to
Yeah.
incorporate people of color and to see Thierry Henry destroy teams single-handedly. That's what got me so
Boost.
well and truly into Arsenal Football Club.
I think you forgot one thing though. What position did you play, Mel? You haven't told
Oh,
us.
center mid. I
Oh,
played as a
nice.
center mid. Yes,
You
I
like
think
the conducting role,
I
yeah?
like the physicality and I like the leadership in the midfield. I
Mhm.
like being that general in midfield to take my team towards the attack so we get the goals. But you know what? I'll tell you, like it's not easy when we lost games. I felt a lot of the times our midfield was poor. Now when I talk about it as doing like the punditry for fun, I can think of these kids, these young kids, and say, "Oh, I understand. They need time. They need extra, care." But when you're playing, you don't have that
No,
mentality. Sometimes you switch off, and sometimes a bad day can drag with you throughout the weeks, right? You see it with Ronaldo, certain things at United, just one after the other. It didn't really suit him, and he's still a goat, the greatest of all time, one of the greatest of football. But you'll never take someone's legacy away from you. And I love playing in the midfield. I really wanted to do defense at one point, but I guess I was too nervous for it. So midfield was where I played all of my life. So that's hopefully Arsenal can use me one day if I'm able
well,
to get back to that level.
that's cool. Yeah, like it reminds me when I was captain of my school team, I always put myself in defence. I just
Oh
felt like
wow.
I had to be the one. I mean, I was usually a winger or a striker, but when I
Oh
was
wow.
captain, I felt like I had to be a centre back, and I just always put myself back there so I could help the people in front of me, because they
Everything in
weren't,
front, yeah.
you know, they loved the sport, but they probably weren't as
Which
good as me,
position
because
did you like the most though?
I left wing, to be honest.
Oh,
What
left
about you?
wing.
You preferred central mid, yeah? Is
Yeah,
that
a lot better.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a
I
Vieira?
want to also say shout out to everyone in the chat tuned in. If you're not already subscribed to Football United TV, please subscribe to them. They do a Gunners Across All Corners show, hosted by Anthony Harbour, a great friend of mine. And it's a great show. It's on Friday nights, so I hope you guys can tune into that one as well.
Thank you, Melina. Actually, we might be able to get you on the show a few times, right? You said
Yes,
you're more than willing to help out Anthony. So if you are watching, Anthony, there you go, my son. We'll get you back on it. Let's read out some comments then, because we know we got a lot of love here for you, Melina. Good evening, Matt and Melina. I'm dropping a like. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Please do the same if you are checking out. And thank you for the new subscriber,
Yeah,
A
thank you very much.
A-Lace, thank you very much, mate. Nice photo indeed as well. Jordan Hyman, big up from
Hi,
Jordan in
Jordan.
Jamaica. How's it doing, mate? I wish I was where you was right now. It's freezing where I am. I don't know about you, Melina. I'm pretty sure it's similar.
It's cold. Yeah, it's really cold.
Not nice.
Hi,
Matt,
Matthew.
evening, Matt and Miss Melina. Hope you're both well. Cheers, mate. You hope you are too. The Realist United, yes,
Hi,
sir.
Realist.
We are in here. Big up to the Realist. Big up, guys. Mel, it's so
Oh,
good to
hi.
see you back and in better health.
Thank you
Brush,
very much.
thank you so much. Yeah, how are you feeling after what happened? I don't know whether
Yeah,
you want to delve
I guess
into it
I'll
a
share
little
that.
bit.
I guess I'll share a bit about that.
Of
So I went
course,
to
yeah. If you want
London. It was the first time I went to see my team play live, and I think that experience itself was something we'll get into later on in this video.
yeah.
But when I came back to Canada, the weather was really hot here. It was actually the last day of spring. The last day of summer. So it was really the last day of spring. It was really, really hot. It was around 20s. When I was in London, you had 4 seasons in one day. I think because I have asthma, it got to me a lot quicker. I thought it was just a flu, so I kept taking paracetamol and just trying to rest to sleep. But then I couldn't breathe, and my inhaler for my asthma wasn't helping me. And that's when my family took me to A&E and said, "Oh, it looks bad. Like, let's go get it checked." A&E was a 10-hour wait. I don't remember anything, Matt. I remember going there, and I remember them telling me it was a 10-hour wait. I sat down, and that's all I remember. Then a week later, I wake up, and they tell me, "Oh, do you know your name? Do you know where you are? Do you know who your family is?" And I answered everything correctly, but then they told me, "You've been here for a week." And it was to the point where I couldn't breathe on my own properly without assistance. I think that was the most scariest part, but not being able to know anything and just thinking about that back was really traumatizing. When I came back home, thankfully I'm home now, as you guys can see. But when I came back home, my family told me my phone was going off like crazy. And I've never felt so much appreciation in my life from anyone, like even my own family. I've never felt that. So when I came back to social media and saw all these messages from people who just I don't even know them in real life, and they said, "Hey, we were praying for you. We thought of you." I saw people do prayer spaces for me, or like even in person, just
Mm-hmm.
people who messaged me, called my family, spoke to my family, and like people like you talk. Like the list can go on. And I think when I got home and people heard me speak, when I called my friends, they started crying when I called them, and I was so upset. I said, "Why are you crying?" Like, because I didn't know. My family didn't tell me until later on what actually happened to me. But when I heard my friends, like I could hear the emotions in their voice. That really got to me, and I never felt so much appreciation from a football community. Forget the Arsenal fan base. I think it was more so the football, and I think me giving people a chance on my platform and in Twitter, trying to be there for people and trying to just be a nice person. yes, of course, there's some bad apples in the bunch that you'll get online all the time. But I think that's when I came home and I really realized through 2 weeks of rehab that there's people who actually are genuine and sincere. And you don't get that a lot nowadays. But thank God I'm a lot better now. And I'm still on strong medications. I don't have my voice back 100%. I lost my voice completely because I had a tube going through my mouth, and I can still talk now, but it's not the same volume percentile. But you know what? That's the least of my problems. It's not something dangerous, and I think that's something is a blessing. There's a lot of things you can take from a
Absolutely.
bad experience, and I'm really grateful for people who took the time to care for me, and everyone who took the time to reach out for me, but also to the staff and the people who treated me, because I could have been waiting there for a long time. I think it's because I couldn't actually breathe at all on my own that I was attended to much quicker and had the support of my family by my side for that incident. But going to London to see the Arsenal play, it was really life changing, Matt. And I've never been to a game before, so seeing the amount of support for Arteta versus online, the amount of toxicity online, I was cheering. Like, I lost my voice from those games, and it was really cold. But you know what? I wouldn't change it for the world. I saw my team put 5 past Nottingham Forest, and I saw my team beat Zurich in the Europa League, just a 1-0 game. But I really enjoyed it. It was my first Europa League night under the lights. And hopefully next season we're in Champions League football and I can go to a Champions League match. But one step at a time, definitely. And I know for a fact my family have banned me from London in the wintertime. I'm not allowed anymore.
I also ban you from coming to London in the winter.
In
Come
the
when it's
wintertime. Yeah, when it's summertime or maybe like May, April, May, hopefully. But I think I really enjoyed the experience of going to the game, not only the game, but the whole match day experience.
yeah.
Going to the match day store, the armory, seeing my friends there, seeing people I don't even know say, "Hey, we know you from Twitter." That was really weird. I didn't expect that. People in the club shop saying who work there saying, "Hey, we know your artwork from Twitter. Can we see it?" And I think that's something that really caught me off guard. And when my dad was with me, he was like, "How do all these people know you? They didn't know my channel, like what I've been doing. They watch it once or twice, but not all the time. And they didn't know what a community I built or what a community I'm grateful to have. And that's something I'll never take for granted. So I'm really
Well,
glad to come on here, Matt, and talk about that because I think a lot of people who suffer from mental health or who suffer from ASD, they don't have the confidence or courage to talk about it because they're often judged or treated differently and scrutinized for being a certain way, for thinking differently or needing extra time. I think that's something that I learned over the years of my life of being put down by people or people giving up on me, that I'll just do things on my own 2 hands and 2 feet and I'll still stand tall no matter what life brings at you. You just keep taking those RKOs and keep coming back stronger. So I think when I got better, now I'm not in rehab anymore. I realized that don't take any day for granted. And I noticed that from Steven, a good friend of ours, when he was dealing with the amount of health issues he was the one encouraging me to, at times when I was doing this rehab program, I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna be able to work again. I'm never gonna be able to do the things I like to do again, right, Matt? And to be
yeah.
here now and talk on other people's channels, it brings back the life into me, like the fun we have, even backstage, the jokes we have, and making fun of each other's teams. It's the banter, right?
It's
And I think
the
that's
it's
something
the
sports
social
brings
aspect.
together.
It's the
Yeah,
social aspect of it, Mel. And the thing is, I mean, I might not meet half of these people that I do talk to, but for me, it is a really decent way of being able to connect with
yes.
people and make new friends. I've certainly made a hell of a lot, and I really like the people that
Oh, and there's
I
some
don't. I
great
don't
people.
Absolutely. I don't even feel like I have to meet them. Like I just really do trust them as people. I've spoke to them a
Yeah,
lot, like you and Stephen and Talk and Amondi and Solo, Mr. B,
yeah,
everyone,
and
mate.
they're
And
people who are always there for others. They're so selfless. That's something like I'll cherish forever. I respect them so much. People who are just always out there to help others and don't expect anything in return. That's something I'm really grateful for.
that's why I don't have as many subscribers as some people, Mel, because I just do it for fun. I just do it for
Yes,
like mental health reasons. And I don't want to be like trying to get uber famous or anything like that. It's not necessarily the direction I want to go. It's
No,
just
and this channel
building
has
a
helped me a
community.
lot. Yeah.
Oh, you've helped us all, Mel, and it's so good to see you back and you're in good health as well. I know
Thank
you're
you,
still
Matt.
feeling a little bit bad, but you look absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, Matt.
Inside out, you're shining. You
Thank
smile.
you very much.
It's beautiful to see. And it's the reason why we all love you, because you just are a very go for it sort of person, aren't you? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I didn't let anything stop me, and I won't. I always tell people, don't let anything stop you.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, if you don't get it the first time, try harder. Keep trying.
He turned up. Look, Anthony turned
Hi,
up.
Anthony. We were just talking about you
Yeah, we were.
earlier.
Scroll back if you want to. Scroll
Yeah.
back if you want to. But
We said
Mel
good
would love.
things.
Yeah, we do say good things. Mel actually would like to help you out sometimes with the Guns from All Corners. So if you do want to bring that back, mate, you're more than welcome anytime you like, sir. Vizzy
Hi,
PhD,
Vic.
Melina. Wow, heartbreak. But you're here, Melina. That's the main
Thank you,
thing
Jay.
right now. Good to see you, Melina. Thank you, ARJ.
Hi, Football Nation.
Wow, cool. I ain't seen these guys before. There he is. A-Lace. Hello, all. Hello, Melina.
Oh.
Thank you for the subscribe, mate. Unbiased TV. Yo, big up. I love that.
Hi, Josh.
Josh. Cool. I love the logo, Josh. Top of the league. We will talk about that in a minute because I want to know what your thoughts are on Arsenal at the moment. It's incredible, I think. I'm so confused. We won 3-0, which should be a game over, but then it went to pens.
Oh, okay.
Could someone please
I can answer that briefly.
Go for it.
I can answer that briefly. The extra point was for just a fun penalty shootout, and we got the extra point. We won 2-1 on penalties. It was a friendly against Leon, and we beat them 3-0 in the 90 minutes, and then another extra point for the penalty shootout. So 4 points in total.
There you go, mate. The Football Nation podcast, love hearts. Thanking you, mate.
Thank you.
And then we did that one already. Okay. We did kind of talk obviously about your AFTV experience, but I want to know about Arsenal as well this season and how you're feeling. Top of the league, and Arteta's doing an amazing job. Yes, our dear friend Stephen really hated Arteta for quite some time,
Yeah.
and everyone was saying, "Have patience, trust the process," and he was going, "Effing process, rubbish." But now it actually looks like there is
process turned into progress.
Yeah. Oh wow, I like that. That should be used. Use it, Arteta, if you can. That's a perfect slogan. Yeah, what you thinking, Mel? You think you can win the league this year?
I just want to say one thing first.
Yeah,
With this
please.
Jesus injury that came up, a lot of people are blaming the board for the lack of depth, which I understand. We don't necessarily have the greatest second team players, not really Premier League ready, some of them. With that being said, the same people blaming the board or Arteta, the board and Arteta are the reason we're number one in the league right now, as we speak, 5 points clear of Man City, because of the recruitment they did in the summer, because of signings like Tomiyasu, Ben White, Aaron Ramsdale, Vieira, Marquinhos, Zinchenko, Jesus. Certain signings are the reason why we are where we are now, And sometimes I feel like the criticism is unwarranted and also not supported by facts. People just say things for the sake of saying things. First things first, the Arsenal right now, top of the league. If you told me last season, Matt, we'd be top of the league by Christmas, by the first business half of the season, I tell you, you're having a lot. I will never, from 8th to 8th to 5th. I thought when this season started, I said, we'll finish second and we'll win the Europa League. And I thought we'd finish second because I knew Chelsea were making shifts and changes, a lot of changes around with their owner and their board. And I said maybe they'd drop off. I never expected Liverpool to capitulate, kind of like the way they are now.
I was just thinking that word as you said that, by the way, capitulate.
Oh, wow. And then to see Arsenal right now in first place, but also to see the leadership we have in Xhaka, and for Arteta to convince Granit Xhaka to stay instead of going to Roma, I think that was one of the best things he's done this summer window. That leadership he's been in and being more able to play more forward in that midfield, he's able to have more control of the midfield, move more freely, and get in those exact positions to get those free kicks and score bangers. And to see the leadership and to see the dressing room now clean and toxic free.
Yeah.
Before under Arsene Wenger, we used to know what they had for breakfast. There were so many leaks in the dressing room, and now the toxicity of the dressing room has changed. The culture of this club has changed, and it's now transpiring on the football pitch. And I'd love to see it.
Yeah, they're keeping it all in house. If there are any issues,
Yes,
the players will
the way
pretty
we
much.
dealt with the Aubameyang situation, we kept it predominantly in house, and I really admired that of Mikel. Mikel at the start, I wasn't really convinced with. However, I said, let's give him time and we'll judge him at the end of the season. He won us the FA Cup in that first year, beating Man City and Liverpool. And then in the second season, eighth, again, I was a bit worried. But then I thought he never had a chance to sign his own players. He was never given a window. For him to be given that summer window that just passed, I said, wow, because Tomiyasu was a name I didn't even know of, Matt. And his aerial ability on the ball, the way he makes people scared of him, he's not a big name player, but Arteta's talent ID is
Was
something
amazing.
I will never question. Arteta was actually the one to tell Edu, our board of directors, that we don't want Emerson Royale from Tottenham, who's now at Tottenham. We don't want him. We want someone else. And for us to see that and see the talent ID and also see Arteta, write off certain players and say, if your attitude doesn't align with the attitudes of Arsenal Football Club, sorry, you're not bigger than the club, even if you're club captain at the time, right? For him to get rid of club captain, that's a big, big, bold and move. And for him to finally get the players he wants, for me to go and experience fans in real life cheering him on versus the social media stuff, I was really, really happy. And I want that long may that continue. And long may the prospects of our academy, tail end prospects, get game time, develop, and get the leadership of the senior players they're working under or playing with. And I think Per Mertesacker is doing a good job with the academy, along with Jack Wilshere. It's a shame what happened to Jack Wilshere. He retired so early, but I'm glad he's working on his coaching badges and
Burnt
still
out,
at
I
the club in a
feel.
way. Yeah,
Don't you feel he was burnt out? Maybe played a bit too young, and
overplayed. Yeah,
like a kind of Rooney thing, where he just like ended his career quite early, really, for his ability,
yeah.
and you kind of. Okay, yeah, you probably started quite young. I think Sterling as well, like, I think might go that way. I don't know whether he'll last up till 36, 37, 38.
No, I don't. He's played a lot of games. When he was at Liverpool, he wasn't necessarily the greatest for them, but when he went to City, Liverpool actually offered him a really good contract package, and he went to City for the money, and obviously won a lot more trophies with City at the time. But it'll be crazy to see him retire so young. I hope that doesn't happen, but I hope he continues to play for England. We need him on Saturday. He's coming back, I heard, from going back to London after that traumatic experience. I
Oh
hope him
yeah,
and his family are okay, by the way. And World Cup football wise, go England.
yeah.
I really
Actually,
hope we.
that's a good segue just for before we finish
Yeah,
and we tell everybody about where they can find you.
sure.
Who's going to win the World Cup? What are you making of the quarters coming up now? And then we got the semis next week. And it's as a whole, the whole experience of the World Cup for you. How's it been?
So Matt, I actually think Portugal are gonna go home by Morocco. Um, I think England will beat France on penalties and redeem themselves from the Euro penalties. And I think it will be an England Brazil final, hopefully. And I
Yeah.
think it's time for Southgate to bring it home. I'm backing England all the way. I really want them to do well. I want my star boy Saka to shine, and I
Mm.
want that young 19-year-old from Dortmund, a certain Jude Bellingham, to prosper. But otherwise, the making of the World Cup so far, Matt, there has been a lot of upsets in this World Cup, and that's the beauty of this World Cup. Nobody thought Saudi Arabia would beat Argentina with Lionel Messi. Come on. I woke up at 5 a.m. to watch that game. and I just saw Messi's penalty, and then I
Worth
saw Saudi Arabia defense. Wow, solidified defense, incredible play.
it.
But can we also talk about Germany going home early? That was something, no one really thought that would happen. And I also want to mention a certain Oliver Giroud. Oliver Giroud getting his time to shine and also beating Thierry Henry's record for France. That's a
Amazing.
massive accomplishment.
Oh,
That's a big accomplishment for Giroud. And I know he didn't necessarily have the greatest of time at Arsenal, but when he's playing for his national team, boy, does he shine. And seeing the Hernandez brothers play together, that's something, regardless of the injuries to Pogba, Kante, they're missing a couple of players actually. And I was really proud of England against Wales, against Iran. That was incredible. But the other day against Senegal, AFCON champions, that's what I said. Southgate, you did it right. You finally got it right. And we finally went to the attack mat instead of playing pragmatic football. That's all I was asking for from Sir Gareth Southgate. If he
kind
can
of like
continue,
the Iran and Wales game, right? We
yes,
went for it.
attacking football, go for it, make a
Yeah,
fluid attack, keep your defense in shape. And the leadership of Jordan Henderson, although he's old legs, his leadership that he brings to these young guns is a must-have. And I was really impressed with that. I'm sorry for Ben White; he had to go home for personal
yeah,
reasons.
that's horrible.
Um, it was sad to hear, but I really hope him and his family are okay. And I'm sorry for the incident that happened to Raheem just last week.
Well, they've caught the robbers, I believe.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good.
That's
Good they found them. People shouldn't be getting away with that, and it's sad that that happens way too often. Nowadays, whenever players leave, their stuff gets stolen. I think Reece James just last season, his Champions League medal was stolen from his home. And people are just ignorant and stupid. Some
Did you
people.
hear about Matic Cash for Aston Villa?
Yes.
Did you hear about him? He got Mbappe's shirt and he got Messi's shirt from the World Cup. He got their shirts.
Oh wow.
And he was hiding them in the safe at his hotel, and he wouldn't check them in like his luggage to go back.
Luggage. Yeah.
He had to hold them in his hold, and he's like, I ain't letting these go anywhere. Like these are very valuable.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. No way. You never know who you can trust, right? So the other thing I do want to say is in this tournament, this World Cup, it's the last World Cup for a lot of players. Neymar, Messi, Ronaldo, Luka Modric, it's possibly his last World Cup. I said that 4 years ago, but the guy's still running. And I think it's going to be a great World Cup to end and get back to the Premier League.
Sorry, Mel. I'll take over. You get it out there. I know you're not feeling very well at the moment. Big up to everybody. I've got lots of love here for you, Mel. Got lots of love here for you. BX Gunner. Yo, Miss Melina. Brush says, I'll tell you, deserves a lot of credit. Stuck to his principles even when many doubted, and they are starting to reap rewards. ARJ says, so inspiring and moving watching Melina. For someone like me suffering from undiagnosed neurological situation, this show makes my day. And this is the reason why we do it. If you watch any of the other Introduce Yourself shows, you'll see people coming on telling us their experiences. And like I say, I'm so proud to be able to say that I've had Miss Melina doing this with us. And it honestly is a real honor that you've done it. And I'm thankful for Talk as well for helping us out doing the
the graphics are incredible.
You got to thank Talk for that. I don't do any of this.
He's the best at it.
He's honestly, you should be making money from this, mate. Honestly, swear.
I told him so many times.
I've even offered to pay him. How much for this?
I told him too. He shouted at me when I asked him that.
Yeah. I remember the first thing he said: if you don't ask me for thumbnails, etc., I'll be insulted, and I'll be annoyed with you.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm like, okay, well, I will ask you then. I always use that one. Anthony says, I'm glad we're top, but Jesus is out for months now, which is a bit worrying.
I think it's time for Eddie Nketiah to deliver and shine. And first, give him a chance before you write him off. I know he's not new to the Premier League, but people have forgotten he scored against Chelsea in big games, and he has turned up before. Also, in that Europa League, when we played poorly, he wasn't played in his right position. He was played out of position. And people forget we're having Emil Smith Rowe come back from a big injury in January. So he'll have the support of them too. So I wouldn't write him off just yet, but I think Arsenal may be looking at, just a backup striker in case. But I wouldn't get my hopes up just yet.
I mean, Smith Rowe, I'm just thinking of all the English talent that could have been at the World Cup. It's just crazy.
Smith Rowe is quality. And last season, he was joint top goal scorer with Bukayo Saka. And when he got injured, certain people in our fan base said, sell him. How dare you say sell him? He's such a young talent and such a promising future. Our Hill and boys. We made them our own academy boys. And for people to write these players off when they get injured, it is humiliating and it is hurtful, and it shows how much of a fan or a lack of a fan they may be. That's I just think back your players. I've seen a lot of hard times with Arsenal. Mustafi, Sebastian Spalletti, Andreas Santos. We've been through the dark times, and for us to finally be working towards this process that now Man United, that Newcastle are working on. People, when we started doing this whole trust the process, people were laughing at us. And for other clubs to now follow or imitate it as a blueprint, it's like, wow, we're seeing Newcastle so ahead of their project, obviously because of the ownership they have now, but you're seeing them ahead of their trajectory. And that's what I like to see in football. Newcastle have suffered a lot under Mike Ashley.
But Miss Melina as well, the emblem here, I think Man United are trying to follow that process right now. They've got Ten Hag in. They've got Ronaldo's gone. He's been sacked.
Yeah.
They got to focus on getting new players in.
And you guys signed Lisandro Martinez. I laughed at him when he was Man United, but genuinely, Matt, he is a great player, and you see in this World Cup, he's been shining for you guys.
He has been indeed. I really do admire him. And everyone gave him stick for being the height he is, and he's actually proven them all wrong.
Yes.
I remember Baresi, the great Italian defender, was about the same height. It doesn't matter about height necessarily. If you've got the ability, you can do anything. Look at the height of Messi, and look how high he can jump to head a ball against Rio Ferdinand in a final. It's Mariam Rizay.
Hi, Mariam.
I hope I said that right. Thank you very much for coming in. Hello. And presents, gifts. Yes, Christmas is coming up. Mama Flossie. Big up to Mama. How you doing? Nice to see you. Sometimes see you in the TalkSport chat as well, sometimes when they're live. And I'm like, hello, Mama. I know you. The football nation is coming home. Miss Melina agrees as well.
We believe.
We do believe something's happening. There's something rumbling about this year. Anthony says, yes, I did hear that Arsenal are going in for Memphis to pay on a free in January. You heard about that, Miss?
I haven't heard about it, but I think it's just paper talk for now.
I think so. Yeah, it's just rumors, isn't it?
Yeah.
Powder room rumors. Bobby K. Big up, Matt, Melina, and everyone in the chat. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in for this. Anthony Herbert, big up to Bobby K. Bobby K says, good day, Anthony. Mama Flossie says, hey, Bobby K. See, lots of love in the room. That's what I love.
Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in.
Matty Cash is the true winner of this World Cup. He is, actually, with them two. Amazing, isn't it? Bob, big up, Mama Flossie. Bobby K in the house, dropping the bomb. Big up, Mama Flossie again. Everyone's bigging up. Everybody's great.
It's Anthony, nice to see the love in the chat to each other too.
Feel free to send him my number. I need somebody to make me thumbnails. Mine are crap. We can get in touch with you, Bobby K, on that. Cannavaro was the same height too and won Ballon d'Or. There you go. See, all the facts are coming out now. Thank you, Brush, as well, for that crazy fact. Mama Flossie, that's me. Anthony Herbert, Franco Baresi was class for AC Milan. Jordan says, what's up, Matt and Melina? Big up to Jordan. Couldn't miss you, Miss Melina. There you go. See, a lot of love there for you. Had to come in and say hello. Smash the like, share, subscribe if you are tuning in. And to end off, Mel,
make sure to subscribe.
And this is the best bit about it is where we can find you, Melina, and the content.
My channel, I do Arsenal and FPL content. I also help on my friends' channels when they do Arsenal videos or post-match reactions. And I have a show on FPL Casuals. We talk about our game week every week. Even though I don't have the greatest of game weeks, it's fun to talk about and make banter with my friends. With that being said, my channel is called Miss Melina, and I'm on the road to 5,000 subscribers. But it's not about the numbers; it's about the community you built. And I think having people interact in the chat, give their opinion from across the world. But one thing that unites us all together is the best club in the world, Arsenal Football Club. Yes, not Man United. It's Arsenal Football Club, the best club in the world.
You're lucky it's you. Usually I just throw people out of the stream, but I'm going to allow that. I'm going to allow that this month.
Thanks, Matt.
Look,
Thank you for having me on as well, Matt.
Hey, honestly, hopefully, Mel, we can get you back on again soon. But like I say, I'm really honored that you could join me for this show, because this show does mean a lot to me, and it's one of the ones that I enjoy the most.
It was a great discussion, and I really enjoyed the questions you asked. Were incredible.
Gunners 007 Raven, big up Mel. Talk to her on Talking Ball Space.
Oh, on Twitter, yeah. Nice to meet you.
Anthony Herbert, sign with me, Melina. We are top of the league. Say
we are top of the league. Say we are top of the league.
Definitely going to end the show now. Hello at Football United TV, Melina, and chat room. Thank you, DWC. And we're going to end it off there. Melina, thank you so much once again to you and everybody for tuning in today. If you have just come in, rewind like Craig David, go back to the start and give it a watch, because honestly, really interesting talk with Miss Mel. Until, well, we're back on in about 10 minutes, actually, with talking a new guest from Boston/Botswana. So we're going to talk a little bit about the World Cup. So do tune in around 10 minutes time. Until then, oh, hang on, I've got to do comments.
Bye, everybody.
Big ups, big ups.
Thank you, Mama Flossie.
There you go.
Thanks, Bobby.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.